Fever. Well, fevers are caused due to chemicals called pyrogens. Now, these pyrogens can come from invading pathogens, things like bacteria, for example, so mean little guys that are entering your body, and they are detected by cells like macrophages, right? And these macrophages will ingest these pathogens, and the macrophages themselves will release these chemicals called pyrogens. And these pyrogens are actually what we call cytokines. So the cytokines are signaling chemicals of the immune system, but they're called pyrogens because they have the ability to induce fever. Fever is a symptom of an issue. The issue here is an infection, an invading pathogen. Now, important cytokines for fever include interleukin-1, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha. They're important cytokines and pyrogens. So they'll be dumped into the bloodstream. They will travel through the systemic circulation, make their way to a part of the blood-brain barrier called the OVLT. Now, the OVLT is an area near the third ventricle. Actually, you don't really need to worry about that. OVLT stands for Organum Vasculosum of the Lamina Terminalis. Who cares what that means? But effectively, it's an area where the blood-brain barrier is pretty crappy and a thin membrane, and it's very close to the hypothalamus. Effectively, things that are in the bloodstream here can move past, all right? So let's zoom in, right? So here's that blood area, and then here's the hypothalamus. Importantly, the hypothalamus has our thermostat. It's set to 37 degrees Celsius. Perfect. So what has made it to this area? Those cytokines, right? Interleukin-1, interleukin-6, tumor necrosis factor alpha, among others. And what they do is they can trigger the cells of the blood vessels here called endothelial cells, trigger them to produce something called COX-2. Funny name, but it stands for cyclooxygenase 2. What that does is it can trigger this thing called arachidonic acid. I know, wonderful names. I don't make the names up. Arachidonic acid, which is produced by the membranes of these cells, and COX-2 can tell arachidonic acid to turn into something called prostaglandins. Now, importantly, the prostaglandins we want to talk about here is PGE2, and COX-2 allows for the arachidonic acid to turn into PGE2. PGE2 moves through that blood-brain barrier, gets into the hypothalamus, and what PGE2 does is it goes to that thermostatic set point and says, hey, 37's too low. I want a new set point at, let's say, 39 degrees Celsius. So once you're at once it's set at 39 degrees Celsius and your body temperature is actually 37, it goes, hey, wait, it should be 39. You're too cold. So what do you do when you're cold? You shiver. So your muscles start to contract, relax to make heat. And also the blood vessels of your skin, they constrict, pushing that blood deeper into your body to try and maintain that heat. So this is the process of a fever.